To creatine or not to creatine? That is the question. Hey, goalies, welcome back to another edition of EGM Weekly. I am in my apartment office, which now looking at it, the aesthetics are way better. This is a nutrition question that comes up quite a bit, and this isn't exclusive to goalies. It's actually really common all the way across the board from any sort of athletes, but this one is a general for athletes. And actually, the more research that comes out shows that this is actually better for humans. Now, when it comes to supplements, like a lot of them are misunderstood, and there's also a lot of noise, and there's a tremendous amount of garbage out there. So let's break this down, and I'm going to do an individual series on which supplements actually work and what ones are beneficial for goalies. However, the one that's probably the most researched and one that actually you'll see a tangible difference when you take it is creatine. And you're going to hear a lot of myths out there, the classic, creatine gives you bloating, gives you diarrhea. Like these are all things, and sometimes those side effects do occur. But creatine is one of the most researched and one of the safest supplements out there for all athletes, especially if you're getting just classic high quality creatine monohydrate. So what is creatine? Creatine is a naturally occurring substance. You can get it mainly in animal meats. And what it does is it helps to convert ADP, so adenosine diphosphate, to adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. If you paid attention in any high school biology class, you would know that ATP is responsible for creating energy within inside our cells. And ATP is the primary source of energy for very quick explosive movements, like under 10 seconds. So like pushing, doing T pushes, backdoor saves, all those things. Now, and I'll make another video talking about energy systems and things, but for right now, let's just keep it as simple as possible. ATP, or essentially, to simplify even more, creatine, in this case, helps to facilitate explosive movements for goalies, hockey players, all athletes. So why should goalies take creatine? Well, because goaltending is a position of very explosive movements. When we look at a game is an hour long, for example, depending on what level you're at, 45 minutes to an hour. And there are going to be different energy systems moved. You're going to use different substrates to create that energy. However, you have many, those thousands of explosive movements that are all trickled in through an hour of gameplay. Creatine helps improve your ability to have that explosive movement. So when you're pushing across the crease, power push, T push, everything, all those movements, that is your body utilizing ATP for that energy. So if you supplement with creatine, you'll have more reserve to pull to help facilitate that ADP to ATP. So meaning that you're less likely to your muscles are less likely to burn out. It's easy to say. So you're less likely for your muscles to burn out when performing those movements versus someone that maybe is deficient in creatine. Creatine also helps reduce muscle fatigue. So, well, obviously that's a good thing. The less fatigue you're going to be, the more energy you're going to have. So throughout a game, if you have supplemented properly and compared to someone that, let's just say, is deficient or hasn't supplemented or doesn't eat a noticeable amount of animal products, they don't have enough in their muscles, that explosive burst will utilize up that ATP, and somebody who's supplemented will have an easier time regenerating that. So their recovery time is going to be diminished, including their recovery time after a game or a practice or training session. You also might have heard that creatine is a steroid. It's not, despite what a lot the meme would say, that your mom gets worried that you're taking steroids when she sees the bottle of creatine. It has no anabolic or androgenic properties. It can help you with muscle growth, but not through any of those direct pathways. Essentially, if you have more creatine stores, you might be able to get one or two extra reps when you're exercising. So let's just say you're doing some squats, and normally you can hit 10 reps at 225 pounds. But you start supplementing with creatine and your muscles are full and they're able to produce more ADP. So now you're able to hit 12 or 13 reps at 225, and over the course of time, that accumulated volume and then strength increases will cause your muscles to grow and you'll get stronger versus just being able to hit maximal of 10 reps. So it allows you to get 1 to 2 or 3 extra reps. And then over time, you'll get stronger, more volume equals muscle growth. It's not going to essentially add bulk. I mean, sometimes people will say that creatine adds water weight, and that is true to a degree, where the more creatine you have, the more hydrated your cells are going to be. But that's also a good thing, because if you're more hydrated, you're going to be able to perform better versus like, just a dehydrated muscle. So essentially creatine helps support muscle growth, uh, rather than directly enhance muscle growth. There's a lot of new research coming out for creatine and brain health, specifically in older individuals with like Alzheimer's and cognitive decline. It's very promising. But for you watching as young goalies or goalie parents, hopefully you're not experiencing any of those. But there is research to show that consistently taking creatine can help improve focus and brain function. And as goalies, we need to think, process, react to games. So if there is a benefit from there, then that's awesome. That means that's going to help improve our ability to focus and concentrate on the ice. Now, the research with brain function and health is varies in terms of the amount, and we'll talk about just the general guidelines of creatine. Um, I've seen it as high as like 50 grams per day to as low as 2 to 3. But again, like if you're just supplementing, you're following the basic guidelines, again, making sure that before you take any supplement, you talk to a healthcare professional, all those things, then you're going to find some benefits, especially since most of you watching are young athletes. Finally, I think I mentioned at the start, but creatine is safe. One of the most researched supplements when used properly. Like there's no evidence to show that it harms your kidneys, it causes increased cramping, leads to dehydration, anything like that, especially if you're using quality stuff. Now, again, like the supplement industry is shady AF. However, make sure you're getting third-party tested supplements. That way you know what you're getting. On what it says on the label is actually what you're getting. So let's talk about the nitty-gritty, and you watching, these are probably the things that you actually want to know. The daily dosage. So creatine is something you could take daily. Usually the recommended is anywhere between 3 to 5 grams every single day. You'll hear that you should load creatine. Now, personally, with the athletes that work individually with me, I usually go through just a small loading phase of 30 days where they take 10 milligrams, or sorry, excuse me, 10 grams. So the athletes that work with me individually will go through a loading phase on purpose of just to make sure that the muscles are completely saturated with creatine. So over about 30 days, we'll go 10 grams. And then after that, we just go 5 grams per day for forever. Same thing with me. I'm right now taking a higher dosage of creatine, but that's just because I'm doing a lot of endurance running, mixed with weight training. So for me, I just take 10 grams a day, every single day. But the research shows that 5 grams perfect every single day is enough to saturate your muscles and enough to kind of fill in that gap that you might not be getting if you are like for the amount that you're getting through your food. And if you are someone who is a vegan or vegetarian, I would probably err on the side of higher rather than lower. Best time to take it. Now, it really depends. If you are an athlete that's working with me individually, now we'll get into the nitty gritty because there's a lot of minutia. However, research shows that you can take it anytime, before, after a workout, before you go to bed, when you wake up. It doesn't really matter as long as you are getting it in. Plus, you're going to get some from your food if you are eating animal products. You could take it with whatever, mix it with water, juice, protein shake, coffee. It doesn't matter. Sometimes if you take a powder form, if you're taking pill form, just swallow it. You can get flavored ones so that maybe it's a little bit more palatable. Creatine itself doesn't taste like anything. Depending on the product or the quality of it, sometimes it's a little granular, but as long as you mix it and get it in, that's all that matters. And creatine, like I said before, helps pull water into your cells, so just make sure that you're staying hydrated. But if you are an athlete watching this, that's just a general term. You should be staying hydrated. You should always have a water bottle with you at all times, just that you're sipping on it, making sure that you're staying hydrated so you can replenish everything you lose through your sweat. And then when you get onto the ice, the court, the field, if you're watching this, it would be the ice, then you're not risking dehydration from the drop of the puck. So to summarize, creatine helps with explosive movements. This can help make you stronger, faster on the ice and in the gym. It helps support brain function, which is really cool, especially for focus. It's safe well researched, which is even better. And finally, you only need about 5 grams per day in order to get the benefits from creatine. And then what type? So typically, I would recommend anything that is third-party tested and specifically that has the Crea Pure label on it. This is the German micronized creatine monohydrate. It tends to be the highest quality of creatine. So look for third-party tested Crea Pure. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this answers your questions regarding creatine. Again, this is something that I work with my athletes one-on-one, dialing in the nutrition. So if you're a goalie and you want to work with me, I would suggest the EGM Prospects program. You can also sign up for the EGM Labs app. There's a massive nutrition manual in terms of like everything you need just so that you cannot miss. But if you want something that's more detailed, more tailored, you can click one of the links in the bio here. The Prospects program is application only, so we meet to make sure that you're a good fit for this program. And if you are, we go forward. And this is my most in-depth thing. This is where the goalies see the most tremendous marks. I typically only work with maybe 3 to 5 new goalies per quarter, but I actually haven't opened it up in the last year just because I've been focused on who we have. But I'm going to open up some new spots right before summer training. That way we can dial it in for a select few goalies who are really looking to kind of like take their game to that next level and just straight up become a better goalie. So thanks for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, share. This stuff, I hate saying it, but it does help. So thanks a lot, and I'll see everyone next week.